Hi guys, in this video I will show you how to configure firewall so your administrators will be able to use your Radius or TACAX accounts, and you don't need to keep separate user records on different devices. Okay, so if you want to integrate your firewall with Radius server, the first thing you need to go to configure those Radius servers. So I'm going to Device, Server Profiles, Radius, and we're creating a new one. So let's say that is a test Radius, and used for administrators only. Okay, so now we need to give the name. So let's say it's Radius 1 and IP address 192.168.5.111 secret. So this one, pre-shared secret, has to match between the Radius server and your firewall. Okay, and you can add more Radius servers for the Radius server profile. Let's add a new one, Red2. So just in case if the first one will not be accessible, so the firewall will try to connect to the second one. And usually, pre-shared keys for the redundant systems, they have to match. But if they are separate Radius servers, they might be different. Okay, so that is the first step. So after that, you need to configure authentication profile. So in this authentication profile, you giving, let's say, Radius profile 1, and you're saying that you will use a Radius type with server profile Radius test, which we have created. Also, we can go to advanced tab, and here we need to add list. Let's say here's the all by default. Also, you can specify how many failed attempts the user allowed to do before his account will be locked. It can be done on the Radius server as well, and preferably. Okay, so when we configured authentication profile, then we need to go to Setup, and in the Management tab, we need to go to Authentication Settings, and in the Authentication Settings, we need to choose the authentication profile we just created. And that's actually all. So if you have several different authentication systems, let's say Radius, TACAX, Kerberos, so you may say that, for example, I wanted first to configure authentication via Radius server and then via TACAX server. So this sequence you can specify in authentication sequence, but I will not show that because it's out of this scope. Okay, so and then you need to commit, and you can of course you need to configure your device as a client device for on the Radius server, and that's all. So you can test. And one thing, local accounts will be working all the time. So it doesn't matter if you configure to Radius or another profile, the local accounts will take precedence. So they will be working all the time. Okay, thank you for viewing, subscribe, and all the best.